Hello and welcome back to our Final Fantasy XIV recap. Last we checked in, we just found the famous Cid Garland and were in search of his lost airship, the Enterprise. We chased our leads all the way to Kurthis, the borderlands of Ishgard. To keep this part brief, we met Haurchefant of House Fortemps. He tells us the ship went down in the Stone Vigil. We save Francel from being executed and we eventually uncover the fraud posing as the Inquisitor. He turns out to be a heretic fighting for the dragons. We learn a bit here about the war happening in Ishgard and why they refuse to help the Eorzean Alliance. The Elezen of Ishgard have been at war with the dragons for 1,000 years. Having gained Lord Dromont's trust, we access the Stone Vigil and find the Enterprise at rest behind a sleeping dragon. Sleepy time ends as Cid and Alphinaud reach the ship. La Habrea arrives and wakes the beast, attempting once more to get us out of the way. We defeat the dragon, claim a new Crystal of Light, and escape aboard the Enterprise. We have a moment with Cid as we're flying, and he recalls his past growing up in Garlemald, and how he had been aboard the Enterprise with adventurers before. He has a weird trip where we arrive in front of him as a vision of light and hand him his signature goggles. When we land and assess the damage, Cid tells us we need a corrupted crystal infused with aether in order to break through Garuda's barrier. We meet a scholarly expert who has us go meet their students to track this crystal down. One of them gives us a super cool pot to collect the crystal in, and off we go. We eventually get the right one, bring it to Cid, and we're on the way to fight our next primal. Upon our arrival, we find the Ixal have also taken Kobold and Amalja prisoners. We trash-talk Garuda and instigate a fight, and win. Her followers' prayers heal her and she attempts to temper us, but we pull the ultimate Uno reverse using the Echo and rip the final crystal from her chest. This shakes her resolve, stating there's no way anyone could have this much power. Gaius Ben Belsar arrives, the leader of the Garlean invasion force. He also trash-talks Garuda, who then sacrifices the Kobold and Amalja prisoners to force them into summoning their gods. As we find ourselves faced with all three primals, Cid makes the call for us to retreat. Gaius then unveils the weapon his legion has been working on all this time, which quickly dispatches and absorbs each primal, much to the shock and horror of Alphinaud and Cid. We arrive back at the Waking Sands, planning to begin rebuilding the Scions, and run into Ida. She collapses with relief to see us all, explaining that her and Y'shtola have been cleaning the hideout, having evaded capture since they'd been away during the attack. Hydaelyn speaks to us once again as we rest, awaiting Y'shtola's arrival. She tells us to fear La Habrea, but that our crystals of light will be both a sword and shield. Y'shtola arrives, bringing with her the news of where our friends are being held captive, and our mission to rescue them gets well underway. We set up base in Mordona, near the castrum we plan to infiltrate, and meet with Glaumont, a man more than happy to take any action he can against the Empire. Through his information, we gain a Garlean Reaper and a few uniforms. While the machinery ends up being faulty, Biggs and Wedge get her fixed up quick. They replace her core with a mammoth heart, making her capable of feeling, and so Maggie joins our entourage. With our sentient battle mech mended, we infiltrate Castrum Sentry, locate and rescue our friends, and unfortunately lose Maggie to the Garleans in the process. We find out from Papalymo that no one's seen any sign of Thancred at this point. We find out why as we make our escape aboard the Enterprise, and spot La Habrea, who removes his mask to reveal Thancred beneath. Gaius attempts to stop us using shots from the Ultima weapon, and Nymphilia explains she overheard its name and how they found it beneath Alamigo, as well as learning it's a relic from ancient Alig. With the Scion's primary group restored, we go to rally the Eorzean Alliance, who are in the midst of nearly deciding to surrender to Gaius. They begin to devise a four-part plan to take on the invasion force as we return to the Waking Sands. Nymphilia tells us that the Ascians are immortal beings capable of puppeteering mortal bodies through the use of crystals of darkness, and that we may need one ourselves to save Thancred. Thankfully, one is provided to us courtesy of the students of Aldessian, a scholarly group tied to Sharlayan that aids the Scions. We meet with the Grand Company leaders to discuss Operation Archon, the four-part plan to wipe out the Garlean invasion force and destroy the Ultima weapon. Our first step is getting into Castrum Occidens and taking out the Praefectus, Ritaten. He proves to be a very tough opponent, quite literally refusing to go down. He kicks my ass once, forcing me to upgrade my gear, and then come back to barely defeat him. With that, the Castrum falls, paving the way for the Grand Companies and Co. to handle parts 2 and 3 of the plan. When the final stage of Operation Archon arrives, we move to take Castrum Meridianum, the primary base of the Garlean invasion force. It's here we find Livia, poised to stop us, stating she refuses to allow us to take everything she's worked for. We defeat her and finally get revenge for what she did at the Waking Sands. With her out of the way and the barrier to the Praetorium destroyed, we enter the innermost base and search for the Ultima weapon. We catch up to Gaius, who attempts to convince Cid and ourselves to join him. He tells Cid that his father had regrets about helming the Meteor Project, his project being the one that resulted in the calamity 5 years prior. When we refuse to join him, he sets a Magitech golem on us and escapes to a deeper part of the base. We find Maggie, and she helps us to blow a hole through their defenses straight to Nero, the man in charge of studying and activating the Ultima weapon. He complains to us how he's sick of living in Cid's shadow, and how everything he's done has been out of jealousy that the people like Cid more. We defeat him, and he has the most Theater Kid exit ever. We catch up to Gaius, who waxes on about how the only way to bring peace is through empiric rule, and how he should rule Eorzea because he's stronger. Though we beat him in face-to-face combat, he retreats farther and activates the Ultima weapon. Our battle against the weapon ensues, in which, with Hydaelyn's help, we strip it of the Primal's powers. Gaius is confounded, unable to comprehend how we're managing to do this. La Habrea arrives to tell him that it's our crystals, alongside Hydaelyn, that keep us safe. And he activates the weapon's core, the heart of Sabik, to cast the spell Ultima. Hydaelyn shields us once again, and Gaius only manages to cause such devastation to his own base and airships. We defeat the weapon, and La Habrea returns to state that the etheric laws are imbalanced, and he blames Hydaelyn, saying his god is the only one who can set it right. He decides to deal with us himself, and he does manage to kill us, but Hydaelyn says absolutely not, picks us back up. We channel the light of the crystals we carry, purging La Habrea from Thancred's body, and are left to find our way out of the exploding base. Maggie to our rescue once again. She's wonderful, arriving just in time to bring Thancred and Coffeemancer to safety. We enjoy the celebration outside Mordona, bring in the 7th Astral Era with the company leaders, and receive another message from Hydaelyn stating that while the darkness is not gone, it has been dealt a significant blow for now. Our celebration is cut short, as we have yet another vision. Our companions fade away before us, and we see Hydaelyn bereft of her light and wholly consumed by dark ether. When we return to the present, a massive roar rings out over the land, and a soldier comes running, bearing news of a primal awakening. Our work is far from over. We also are shown a separate cutscene that reveals the ranks of the Ascians lying in wait, all attempting to release their one true god, Zodiark. And that, my friends, is where we have left off, and where we will be picking up on Saturday. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Take care. Bye!